Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this channel named Geeks for Geeks School. So that's the game that we guys were developing yesterday, and it's the second part of this game which you are attending right now. So we are done with defining the code for getting this beautiful screen over here, which you're seeing right now at this time, and we are also done with defining the code for bringing this background, which you are able to see on this display screen. So that's the screen on which we'll be defining the characters with which we will play the game. So that's the floor. We have a different surface for this floor. We have defined an individual surface for this blue sky, which you're able to see on this display window, and also the text which is getting reflected over here. We have defined a separate code for this. Right, let me just show you the whole code now. That's the whole code which we are done defining with over here in the Sublime text platform. Now the next thing that we need to do is, let me first show you the exact game, after developing how the game will look like. So that's the whole code of the game, and this is how it will sound. So that is how after defining the complete code, the game will look like. Fine. Now it's time for us to define the code with the help of which we can bring the snails on our display window. Right, the snails which you just noticed, they were traveling from the right of the screen towards the left side, right, and they were again coming back. And the blue color player which you just saw on the game window, that's the one with the help of which we'll be playing the game. So we'll define the code now for bringing this nail on our display window. So we are going to make use of the same concept, the way we defined the surfaces for this ground and the sky, so as to bring them on the display window. We are going to make use of the same surface concept in order to bring this nail also on the display window. So let's do that. I would like to get a surface variable first. So snail surface is the one which I am using, and let's make use of this simple code pygame dot image dot load. Load is a function you guys know very well, with the help of which you can load any image and put it in a variable. The way I am doing it right now, you guys can also follow, and know bring the snail on the window. So convert is a function with the help of which you can convert the image in such a form which will not put a lot of load on the game, right? So that we'll be able to see beautiful animations going on our display window, and the game should not hang at any point of time. The movement, the transitions of the different frames which this while loop is creating for us, it should be very smooth. So that's the way you can do it, right? And then we can define a position for this snail. So let's have this variable snail expose, and let me just assign it a value, let's say 600. Now if I want to bring this snail on the display, so I can use the same concept. I have used the split function. So split is for block image transfer, as you guys know very well. So we guys can use the same function for bringing the snail's image also on our screen. Let me just do that. So I am putting the same code over here. Fine, and it's time for us to uh, what is the name of the variable in which I have saved the image? Okay, that's the one in which I have saved this snail's image. So I'm putting it here, and it's time for me to define a position for the snail. So what I am doing, I would like to take this position into consideration, and I'm putting it here, and simply here I am passing 250. Right, let me now see whether I will be able to get the snail on my display window or not. I think I'll be able to see it. It's giving me an error. Why is it so? We'll have to check it out. So no such file in the directory. Okay, maybe it's not able to locate this file snail.png. Let me see if I have. Okay, I think it is with name snail1.png, not snail.png. I have rectified the name of the image and I am now able to see this image getting reflected over here. Right. Now, there is some issue with this image. If you will notice, you'll be able to see a white background just behind this nail. I don't want to look, I don't want to see it. It's a pixel game that we are developing right now, and it's appearing just because we haven't converted this image into that format, in which we can make this in which this background we can make hidden, right? So which function can we use for getting rid of this white background and this black line which is visible to us next to this snail? So instead of using this convert simply, we can make use of this function convert alpha. So what it will do, it will remove the background, it will make the background transparent, you can say that. Now if I will run the code, so that's what you will get as an output. So now neither that black line is visible to us and nor the white background appearing on this display window. How we'll do it? So let's just see that. uh, I have this code over here, snail I have this variable over here, snail underscore x, with which I am able along the x-axis of the snail. And I would like to see it touching the ground. This nail, if I will run this code, yeah, I missed that part, sorry. So if I will run this code, that's what I'm getting as an output. But this snail is somewhere in the air. I don't want to see it in the air. I would like to see its feet touching the ground. So let me just change it to 300. I think that will do. Now if I will run this code, so let's see what I'm going to get. Okay, it's here. No, it's not giving us the correct output. If I'll change it to 260, I think it's almost perfect. Let me just increase it to 263. I think that will give us the correct down here. And let's do one thing. Just after this point where we have defined the code for getting the text surface on the display, we can put an if control statement. So let's see, let's put a check on the snail's x position. Snail x position, if it is smaller than equal, is if it is smaller than minus 100. Okay, what I would like to do, I would like to see the snail's position changing back to this thing. It should be equal to 800. It should go back to the point where the screen is starting, just because the width of the screen is 800. So that's the reason I put this 800 over here. And before this, I need to put a code with the help of which I can make this snail x value changing after the frame gets changed. After every frame gets executed, I want to see the snail x position also changing. So how will I do that? So that's the code with help of which we can do it. And we can change it by 4, I think. Because why I have put this minus sign? Because I want to see the snail moving from the left side, from the right side towards the left side. Okay, now if I will run this code, it's amazing, really amazing it is. Python is so beautiful. See, I'm able to see this snail moving, and it's giving me an error. No problem, we'll be able to fix it. Okay, so snail is not defined. Maybe I have used an incorrect spelling somewhere. Snail x position. Okay, here it should be underscore. So the more error you get, the more things you get to learn. Now we'll be able to get it back on the screen. See, it is again and again reappearing on the screen. It is leaving the screen from the left side, and it is reappearing. Right. So we are done with defining the code for this nail surface. Now it's time for us to bring our main player on our display window. So what we'll be using, we'll be doing the same concept. We'll be using the same concept. Let's use a variable with name player surface. And while I'm defining this code, let me tell you, I've started my coding classes recently, okay, in which I am teaching Python code, Python app development and Python game development. If you guys are interested in learning these things, you can contact me on my number 9891665634, right? So player walk underscore one, and that's the name, with which I have saved the image in the folder in which this file is present. So it's the player image. When you will see it, definitely you will be able to relate to the image. So I will be using this convert alpha only with this one, right? Because I don't want to see any kind of background getting reflected behind my screen, behind my player's image. So that's the reason, right? So we are done with defining the code, and let's do one thing. In order to bring it on the display window, we'll have to put a code over here. Screen.blit is the one which we'll be using, and player underscore surf is the name of the variable in which we have saved the player's image. So we'll be calling it here. We just have to put, sorry, we'll have to put the variable. Where is that variable? Okay, I think, yeah, it should be like this. Done with copying and pasting the variable in which I've saved the player's image, and it's time to run. We can use the rectangle concept. So you guys know very well, we in rectangle concept, what happens? We define a rectangle in the background of the surface on which this player is there. So we can then control the rectangle's position using simple Python code. So that's what I am going to do now. If you don't know about rectangle coding, you can enjoy those things. Okay, I think I've got disconnected in between. Let me just check whether I am still connected to my YouTube channel or not. Just give me a very short moment. Whether it is showing me live or not right now, that's what I would like to check. Okay, it is showing me I am live right now. Thanks, connected. Okay, so let's go back on this coding part, and here, what I would like to do, I would like to have this player underscore rect, and let me quickly define this code with the help of which we can define a rectangle in the background of our player, with which we can control the position of our player. Fine, so I would like to keep it empty for now. I'll be defining the code for it later on. Or shall I define it now? No problem. Let me just put the required code over here now only. So here, what we can do, we can define different positions. Like if you want to see your player getting reflected on the top left, or if you want to control the position of the rectangle based on its top left position. So you can make use of this top left keyword and simply pass a tuple value to it. So you can do it like this, 80 comma 200, and that's top left. Okay, so that's the point from where the rectangle will start, and this whole rectangle will be then drawn by the interpreter of this platform. It's time for us to bring the what we call it, bring the player on our game windows. So if you will now run the code, you will be able to see the player, but okay, we are getting this error here. Why is it so? Have to check. Okay, the function which I have used, it's that's the one. No, that's the correct name. Let me build it again on Python and see. Okay, get rect. Now, why is this showing us this error? That's what we'll have to check. Module pygame has no attribute get rect. Okay, so I think we haven't made use of this class properly. It is, it is in this pygame underscore serve class. I think now it will give us the correct output. I didn't mention this serve, so